right, Home Squad Sports got our 2025 Mac preview here with Dalton, as well as Mark, our senior writer. I'm going to get us all together on the Mac. He's our Mac expert. I mean, he's in the thick of it in Ohio and Mac country. Don't pretty much have a perfect person there for it other than Mark.
All right.
So you're really excited about that. We'll give him in here in just a second. Got some news Dalton wants to go about as well here in just a second, but we'll get Mark's take on that as well. But without further ado, we'll go ahead and bring in the main man himself, the man, the myth, the legend, Mark. Let's go. What's up, Mark?
Gentlemen.
What's up?
Thank you. I'm obviously showing my Mac bias here with my Akron basketball shirt, but I won't be too biased towards Akron, I promise.
Hey, it's all right.
It's a good shirt, man. You don't see Akron basketball shirt every day. I'll say that. So sometimes it's good to see one of those random shirts, you know?
Now, I do have a little bit. Now, is it Drew Joyce was the coach there, right? Or is he still the coach?
So his dad coached at St. V and still coaches there. And then his son played with LeBron and he played at Akron.
And then he had another guy on his team, Travis. Romeo Travis was so good.
I remember that guy.
Yeah, he had a really good European career too, because I like Europe.
We go to a ton of Akron basketball games.
Did they have a guy drafted a couple years ago in the NBA too?
I swear they had a guy past year.
Yeah, what's his name?
Freeman.
Yeah, Enrique Freeman.
Sick. And then we have some guys that are definitely going to be in the league on our list as our top players transferring in and key players, which our guy Mark will have us get us all squared away on. So as you can see, Maction 2025 preview. Before we get into it, don't have a whole lot of news. Obviously we have commitments left and right. We could talk about those for the whole show, which will get you, caught up on later because we got some action to talk about. But we do want to bring a thing into some attention. It's a Paul Feinbaum clip that Dalton wants to address as a Florida Gator fan. And we'll get, pretty much throw this around the table and get our opinions as well. But potential hot take from Paul Feinbaum, and we'll go ahead and get into it. Let's see.
There's a reasonably good chance that Texas would have beaten Ohio State and won the national championship. They're very capable of doing it again this year. I believe also that Arch Manning is the best college football quarterback we have seen since Tim Tebow entered the scene in 2006.
That is some high praise to remember Tebow.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
All right, Dalton, go ahead and take the floor.
Yeah, I sure got a bone to pick with this Mr. Feinbaum guy. The best quarterback since Tim Tebow. Who a lot of people say is the best college player ever. I'm not trying to be biased, not trying to be a homer here, but I sure as hell think he's the best college quarterback ever.
Definitely up there.
So this guy's played 90 career snaps, and he's the best college quarterback since Tim Tebow. Lamar Jackson's a bum, I guess, He's just better than Lamar already. Baker, Kyler, all these guys that won Heisman, Joe Burrow, he's better than all these guys already. He's the best since Tebow. I think Paul Feinbaum was just here for the clicks, man.
He is.
Yeah, so
I think he's turning.
He did his job. He got my attention.
Yeah, he got you riled up. He got your blood pressure skyrocketed.
He did, because that's just nonsense.
Dalton said, "Man, I got to talk about this Feinbaum, man. He just said he's better than Tebow." Now, I thought in the clip he said just better coming in. So obviously your take is no, he's not.
It's how
and do you think Tebow is the best college player ever, quarterback?
I mean,
best college quarterback.
I really do. Cam Newton might have had a better season. Yeah. Same with Burrow.
Manziel had a great season.
Same with Burrow. Right.
Burrow had a great
Tebow
season.
had 3 amazing seasons. And even the freshman year we won the title. I don't know if we win it without him, with his jump passes and all that. No, 2 titles, should have won 2 Heismans, potentially 3.
Definitely 2.
Yeah, definitely 2, and the third one's even questionable. So a 2-time guy that should have won 2, potentially 3, and 2 national titles. I don't know what resume compares to that, man. That's all I'm saying. This guy Arch is going to win a Heisman and 2 titles.
Go ahead, Mark.
Do you call it rage bait if he 100% believes it? Because you could see it in his eyes that he truly believed that.
Yeah.
And it's he threw 90 passes last year or whatever. You cannot. Now I understand he is. I believe technically the highest graded quarterback in terms of high school prospects.
Yeah,
I don't know if it still holds. Is that still accurate?
He was in his class for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, I get that, but the fact that he's the one saying it, it's more trying to get a rise out of guys like Dalton.
It works. It works when it's your team that they're they're kind of digging at. So I give him that's why he's on ESPN. I give him his props. You know, he does his job well. He's able to get the people engaged. That's what he did with me. As soon as I seen that, you know, I was like, I gotta talk about this. So he does his job, but I'd like to talk to him like with no cameras and see if he really just means that.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. He's taken on a role of kind of like a half Mel Kiper, half Stephen A. Smith, like just saying stuff, kind of like a Mad Dog. You know, when Mad Dog talks, I'm just like, all right, I'm just gonna like look at my phone for a couple minutes and know his like face is gonna get red over something not that crazy serious. But that's my opinion. I just think he's trying to, you know. He has his ears to the game, no pun intended, because them things are huge. And I just think he hears everything said. And if you say one thing that's kind of like, you know, that get your ears perked, he just takes it and runs with it because he knows he has an audience. You can't say it's an SEC bias. It's SEC on SEC, so you can't really say it there. You can just say this is just a dumb take all around. I just think it's a dumb take. I don't agree with it, obviously. Now, if you really want to throw the question on who is the best college quarterback ever, it's hard. Because you have to look at longevity versus, you know, more of a dense, you know, production. You got to look at hardware versus, you know, just stats. You know, it's a crazy conversation, you know, for another day. We
can have that another day for sure.
Tebow's up there though. He's on the Mount Rushmore. You can't say he's not.
He's in the top 4, right?
I mean, recruiting isn't what it is today because of the internet back then, but everybody knew Tim Tebow.
Oh yeah,
and it's really funny because I have a tweet ready in our draft that's going to go out about the two-a-days. Y'all remember two-a-days, Hoover? The two-a-days high school show on MTV. Yeah. Well, they played Tebow in their first episode, and it's like that was some people's only time they ever seen Tim Tebow like on a half HD camera. So it's hard because we've known about Arch Manning since he's pretty much touched the football. It seems like, and we kind of had to find out about Tebow. So much recruiting back then was hearsay.
Yeah.
You just had to trust somebody's word for it, and I kind of missed that, but. No, I don't think he's near Tebow. He's not as versatile as Tebow. Urban Meyers, you could say offense stunted him as far as being a pro prospect, but hey, he got the job done on the college level.
And you know how I feel as a pro. I think he got blackballed for a different reason than Kaepernick. I mean, you win a playoff game and then never start again. I don't care who we are. You're hating.
No, I think that it would have
316 against the Steelers too. Best defense in the league.
Finds themselves out the league, especially quarterbacks. It's never 100% fair. Never, no matter who it is, right? I mean, you know, a lot of guys, you know, Tyrod Taylor got his starting job taken away because an acupuncturist or, you know, missed the needle.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
So things just don't. You know, things just aren't always in your control. So I think that was one of those. But the big thing with Tebow, his release with me. And he's a really great he would be better today. He would be a starting quarterback today's NFL, in my opinion. But before we get into the MAC, before we harp on it too long, I think his big thing was just getting his ball out, and it just took too long. It was, and he's, like I said, sorry, I lost my train of thought. He's the perfect example of a left-handed quarterback to where it's hard for a left-handed quarterback. It's just hard for receivers to adjust to that.
Last thing, then we'll move on. I never said he was an amazing quarterback. No. Even me, as NFL,
he's a football player.
He's a winner though.
Football player for sure.
He took that team from like 3-8 to 8-8, like, and made the playoffs, and then beat the number 1 defense in the league. They pulled
the plug.
He was a winner, man. That's what Peyton Manning though. I get it.
Who was his head? Okay,
Peyton Manning's who replaced him. I mean, I get it.
He's another example is when new ownership or new coaches in his case, when new coaches come in, they want their own guys. So when McDaniels left, it's, you know, John Fox comes in, and
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Even I ain't arguing. Take Peyton Manning over him for sure. I get it, but
yeah, exactly.
He still should have started somewhere. I mean,
I agree.
The Jets, when they benched Mark Sanchez, they benched him for some. I don't even remember who the player was. It was some absolute bum.
Probably McCown.
And Tebow's on the team.
Probably McCown.
And that's when I knew he was getting blackballed. That's when I started. But man, it's all right. Like I said, it's all about. We're talking about college and top 5.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm just saying. I'm gonna. Josh Allen is the modern day Tim Tebow.
Hey,
he's a football player.
You think Tebow can be that good right now?
I'm mostly taking a shot at Josh Allen because I'm not a big Josh.
Oh, okay. See, I'm a Bills hater, but
I don't think you have to have a quarterback at the quarterback position to win it.
I think Josh Allen, hot take, he's the best quarterback in the NFL.
I know.
If he was on the Chiefs, he would have the same amount of rings as Patrick Mahomes, bro.
He's too much of a football player, not enough of a quarterback.
I love that take. I think, and I think what's been kind of sucks to him. The reason why he's not successful has changed, but it's always been his fault. You know, he was fumbling when he came in, kind of took care of the fumbles. Now he's just not winning big games for whatever reason. Takes a sack or whatever. I feel like the reason why he loses.
He plays hero
Take a
ball.
sack.
Yeah, hero
No.
ball, exactly.
He scored with 12 seconds left, bruh. The defense had 12 seconds to stop the Chiefs, and they couldn't stop them. And it's Josh Allen's fault. See, it's always the quarterback's fault.
It is always the quarterback.
That's not fair. 12 seconds?
It's always the quarterback's fault.
12 seconds. Two plays.
Should have scored more.
2 plays to stop the Chiefs, and you can't stop them 2 plays. And you blame it on Josh Allen.
Should have given a better speech to the
Should have been one more play.
Yeah,
One more
sidelines.
play? Like, come on. No. It's not his
defense
fault
was
that the
tired
Bills aren't
because he
winning. The
left him
Bills
out there
suck
all
as a franchise. They're not
His
surrounding him
defense
with
didn't
anybody.
believe in him. His defense knew that if they even went into overtime, they were screwed.
They knew they weren't. They don't surround him with anybody. Who's his best receiver right now? Freaking Khalil Shakir. Sick.
He's had
Elijah Moore.
He's had around the same amount of talent as Lamar.
Oh, all right. Let's talk to Mac now. Because if he's saying if you're saying that, we're moving on. Because the Ravens be loaded.
Okay, all right. We'll talk about that. It doesn't matter if you're in.
We'll talk about that when we get an NFL preview going.
If you
But
were good 10 years ago, that matters. I guess they get washed up.
Derrick Henry ran for 1,900 yards last year.
All right, let's go ahead and get into the MAC. We're going to get into some guys here that we're going to see playing on Sundays as well. Maybe getting some passes from Josh Allen or Lamar. So we got our predictions. Mark, let's go ahead and if you want to go over, we got Toledo winning the MAC here, and I want to get your thoughts just on your overall look at the conference and how it shakes down from the top to bottom.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything super surprising on here. Toledo's been just a consistently good MAC team. Jason Candle's done a really, really good job of leading that program. Buffalo, that's a little bit of a riskier pick, I kind of feel like. Strictly just because they lost their quarterback to the draft last year, and they're bringing a new guy in. We were talking a little bit before the show about him. Doesn't have much experience. He's been mostly a backup in Taquan Roberson. So
yeah,
it's going to be interesting to see kind of how they. It seems like he's got that same skill set, that mobile quarterback kind of skill set. So it'll be interesting to see how they do there.
See, I've always liked his talent level, honestly. When I've seen him, he made some spot appearances at a couple of schools. Even Kansas State last year, he filled in for Avery Johnson a little bit, and he always showed flashes, man. So I'm excited to see him play for a full year.
Yeah, and I think this is the perfect conference for him to do it in. You know, DeQuan Finn coming back to Miami. We were just talking about that as well. That should be fun to see them play Miami. Yeah.
He might be the best quarterback in the
Miami
conference.
and Toledo play.
Might be the best quarterback in the conference. Bold prediction. I don't know how bold it is because he dominated when he hit Toledo 2 years ago. But he might be the best quarterback in this conference.
What do you think, Mark?
There's honestly such a good amount of quarterback talent. Not in we'll see them on Sundays, but
good
just
for sure.
They're going to be fun to watch on Tuesday and Thursday nights. Parker Navarro is one of my guys. He's that dual threat, rushed over 1,000 yards last year. Going down the list, Ben Finley is a power four guy. Is that what
transfer from NC State.
NC State and Cal coming in and played last year, having another season, and now he's the guy this year. Last year he was a little competition with Taj Bullock, but Bullock moved on to Colorado State, so Finley showed there. Noah Kim at Eastern Michigan. I know he's a pretty well-known guy. So depending on how Eastern Michigan does and the O-line and kind of, talent level, Kim could be a guy who really surprises this year as well.
Yeah, I agree. Now I know with me and Dalton, got our nose to the recruiting trail. Eastern Michigan's got some guys coming in these next 2 years. Really talented guys, but obviously, they're not on the field yet. So I like this conference. Honestly, they're going to be beating up on each other a lot, through the year. But Buffalo, I think they're going to be able to pay off some of the, some of the smack talk that I think people are going to be talking, because last year Buffalo rallied so many games, come from behind win after come from behind win. They got our guy Jason Wright at quarterback, freshman quarterback recruit. So, I mean, never wishing somebody's downfall, but we have to see. I want the Buffalo to have a good season, but also to get Jason Wright on that field.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, I think Toledo. I think you might see one or two flip flop. Well, we won't. I don't know, but I think Toledo. If I had to put my money in where my mouth is right now, I would like Toledo to win the conference. I think these are pretty solid.
I got a couple of dark horses here. I think Bowling Green down here at 6th. They could definitely surprise with Drew Pine and Arliss Boardingham on board. They could form a connection like Fannin and Bazelak last year.
Harold
Honestly,
Fannin.
that could happen in this conference because Boardingham produced in the SEC. He was not bad at Florida. He got replaced at the end of last year just because he can't block, and the way we were in our offense, we need an inline tight end.
Yeah.
But he's more of a split out tight end. But his talent level is really good, man. He could. I'm not saying he's gonna have as good a year as Fannin, but he could produce 900 yards or close to it. And Drew Pine, you've seen his talent at least. He got on the field at Notre Dame and Missouri, so that to get on the field of those two schools, that speaks volumes.
Yeah, he's get on the field good there, and then obviously not a guy that's really going to fill up a stat sheet on the SEC level. But hey, the MAC is offensive heavy. If you get onto MAC, really going to be able to see what your arm talent's about. And if you got a system quarterback at the SEC, you can hide him with a good running back. You can hide him with a good O-line. But either it's sink or float here, and I think he'll float. He'll be okay.
Yeah, me too. I'm really expecting Bowling Green to. Like I said, that's my dark horse. I could see them winning the conference if Toledo messes up, slips up here. Bowling Green's my dark horse, man. Like,
okay,
they got Eddie George, their head coach now, and he already did a good job recruiting this year. So I'm excited for the future to see what he can bring in.
Yeah.
See, I always have a tough time going with a first-year staff going to win a conference. You know,
this is a first 6 month staff. I mean, this was a late hire.
Yeah, it was late hire.
It was. Yeah, and though I don't. We were talking a little bit earlier. The talent they brought in wasn't terrible. I thought they actually did a pretty good job of bringing guys in. We were talking about Drew Pine, obviously coming in. They ranked second overall this past Eddie George's first season in recruiting rankings.
Nice.
So I mean, they brought in a lot of talent.
No, for sure. They've always had guys too. Like every year. Even we did the A&M podcast last night, and one of their best players, Cassius Howe, DN, was a transfer from Bowling Green. He actually led the conference in sacks 2 years ago, 9.5. Nice. So sometimes it's hard for them to keep their guys, but Bowling Green consistently recruits guys, and they put a guy or two in the league every couple of years, and for MAC, that's saying something. So Bowling Green's a team that I feel like eventually they're going to play above their what they've been doing lately. They were really good when we were young. Omar Jacobs was at quarterback. I think they can get back to that level eventually.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, so first team up here, we got Toledo. We'll got the schedule pulled up here. At Kentucky is the first game. Want to get y'all's thoughts on here, just game by game, and obviously we have our predictions as well. Any games you think they could, upset? We'll go ahead and start with Mark.
Yeah, so Chip Trayanum going back to Kentucky, a little bit of a revenge game there. A thing about Toledo that is good is they have 63% of their roster coming back, so that's good for 34th in the country. So if there's going to be a team that's going to upset one of the big SEC schools, it's going to be the team that we predicted first, that has a lot of talent returning, that has probably the best coach in the conference. I mean, opening week, Kentucky might not be settled in right away, because they, I'm sure, have quite a bit of turnover comparatively. So, I mean, I kind of see Toledo as a little bit of a sleeper there.
I do too. I actually like the Kentucky because they're going to have a first-year quarterback. Seems like Kentucky has a first-year quarterback every other year with a lot of these SEC schools. But
Right.
Calzada, I know Dalton's not huge on him with Calzada. He's coming from Incarnate Word, Auburn, Texas A&M, all that good stuff. But I think he's going to do good at Kentucky. But doesn't mean he's not going to get upset first week against a team that knows how to play ball. So I actually do agree with that. I think they could upset this game. I'm gonna pick them to upset this game, honestly. But Dalton, what do you think about Toledo at Kentucky week 1, and then we'll get into the predictions just for the year.
Okay, so I remember Toledo playing Kentucky 2018, 2019.
Okay.
And they almost beat Bryant Koback was a running back back then. Great back. Probably should have went to the league, but it's neither here or there. I think Toledo will give them a hell of a battle. You know how much of a Kentucky hater I am? I think they're not good at football at all. When they win games, it's off of flukes, and they just played they get lucky.
They do.
When they win, it's like lucky
a
stuff.
lot of
happens.
teams go to Commonwealth Stadium and choke.
Yeah, exactly. And Toledo's not a choking team, so if Kentucky don't show up the first week of the season, I mean, they could easily start 0-1.
Okay.
Toledo
So
got enough talent to win that game, man.
if you had to pick, I'm gonna go.
Tucker
ahead and pick
Gleason.
I'm gonna pick them upset Kentucky. Do you have them winning if you had to pick right now?
Yeah, you know I do.
Okay. Mark,
I'm not a Kentucky
Not-
fan. Biggest year.
So doing
Close
the
game?
predictions, I had them losing to Kentucky, Washington State, and then slipping on 2 MAC games. But I mean, that being said, it's not going to be a surprise if they win. They had a lot of good talent and key guys coming back too that like made an impact last year. It's not like guys, a whole lot of guys are needing to step up and step in major impact. They already have these guys from last year.
Do you think Chip Trayanum is gonna have a big year
a big
this year?
game against Kentucky. Yes, it's his old team. Come on,
Is it really his old team though? When you don't even play, he didn't even
Yes.
play a snap.
you practice.
I don't know what happened. Like I didn't read the story. I tried to look it up. You can't really find information about what happened
Yeah.
last year with Chip Trayanum. Do you know?
He played 23 snaps.
Yeah.
Story wise, I don't know. No.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know that,
Because
but
he was
yeah,
supposed to be RB1 the whole preseason going into Kentucky. He was RB1. And then he played 23 snaps all year, and they wasn't an injury. Like I was something off field. I don't know. They hit it really well if it was something off field because I couldn't find anything.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'll have to do a little digging into that Toledo. See if
Yeah,
he-
maybe you can find something. You know, you've been
Yeah.
the Mac guy. Maybe you have some resources I don't have, but I just couldn't find any information on it. So I just don't know how good this guy really is. If you can't get on the field at UK last year, they weren't great.
He
at
was
the running back position.
averaging. I mean, granted, 19 snaps, but he was averaging 5 yards a carry,
Yeah,
Love it.
19 for 101. So I mean, it's not like he was,
Small sample size. You gotta.
for sure though.
But we
19 carries
we
in
have
12
guys
games.
getting,
I mean,
draft talk off small sample size. So I mean, I think he'll probably do good in the MAC. Obviously, we have to wait and see. But if I had to put just on history repeating itself, a lot of guys show out against teams they used to play for, no matter if they barely played or played a lot. We'll see.
1.5 carries a game is crazy
Yeah,
though.
I
That's what he
know.
got last
That's
year.
like not playing.
1.5 carries a
That's
game.
like
He get
not
19 carries in 12 games. It's 1.5. So yeah, he essentially didn't play.
They like to run backs though. Like they had 3 guys over. They had 2 guys over 65 carries, a third guy over 125 carries, and then their quarterback at 97 carries. So they like to run the ball and they like to have it spread out.
Yeah.
So, how much Trainum can actually put up numbers wise, he might be their best back, but who knows how much, he's really putting up there.
I wish Penny Boone would have never transferred. Just say
You
that
wish
while
he
we're still on
did?
Toledo, because he should not have transferred. Penny Boone, after that year he
Oh.
had Toledo, transferred to Louisville, and then he went somewhere else and didn't even play.
I hate
He had a
when it happens.
dominant year at Toledo. Penny Boone was a
Too
crazy
many,
at Toledo.
too many players like that who just have dominant years at the G5 level, and you just like it's probably gonna work out for him P5, and for whatever reason it don't. It sucks.
I was so big on Penny Boone after this Toledo year, and then he just fell off the map, man, because he made a bad choice. But it happens.
Those money dollar signs,
I know.
I know it sucks, dude, because Penny Boone could have went to the NFL.
It's going to get a lot of guys, kind of like you said, evenly distribution with the carries. People, coaches are want to get their money's worth out of their guys, especially if you're a G5 guy getting a guy from a bigger program. But you might see some programs pull up Dallas Cowboys DeMarco Murray and just run some guys to the ground. I think it just depends on which coach you really see and how they run their offense. But we got Toledo here winning the conference. Obviously, they got some guys here. They got like Julian from UMass, like Langston Long from USF from South Florida, and like you said, guys coming back that have already produced and look on to stack on and add to that this year. Anthony Dunn Jr. there on the end, I like him as well. But I really do like the pick at the 8-4 record. We can take another look at the schedule before we move on to the next team. I do like the Kentucky upset, man. I really do. The rest of these games, if you want to call them a pay game, you got Miami, but that's Miami of Ohio, so that's never mind. That's not even a pay game.
Yeah.
So really, it's just Kentucky. There's probably a Kentucky Wildcat like something in their locker room, hung up right now. This is the biggest game of the year, and it's the first game. Like there's not gonna. This isn't week 6, week 8, and they come in and somebody got hurt, and they're coming in not full force. I think they're gonna beat Kentucky Wildcats week 1, man. But we'll see how
Love
it
it.
shakes out. We'll see. Want to get y'all's thoughts here on the next team Mark got us together on, which is second place. Obviously, we're going in order from our predictions of our standings. Now we got Buffalo here. This is the schedule. Want to get your thoughts, Mark, and then Dalton, just about the Buffalo, the Bulls, and what you're thinking about them this year.
I think it all depends on quarterback. I really do. I think their season makes or breaks at the quarterback spot. I mean, losing a guy who, you're just losing your starting quarterback. I mean,
Yeah.
he had 19 touchdowns to 5 interceptions last year. So, I mean, he is pretty solid. CJ Agbana. So, replacing him with a guy who has limited experience is a choice. It's a choice. But, I mean, the talent is there. He went to Kansas State. You said he's at UConn previously. So, it'll be interesting to see I think they see the same skill set between Roberson and Agbana, so I'm sure offense wise there won't be much of a change. But yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see. That's going to make or break their season, definitely.
Yeah, I agree. Quarterback play, man, and there's a reason why they get paid the big bucks, and it makes or breaks your season on so many levels. It's the shot caller, it's the guy, steering your ship. That's why, with this transfer portal, if you're a G5 school, choosing your quarterback is a huge decision on who you're gonna, lead the way, especially when that's the highest paid position now. If you want to look at it from a money standpoint, Dalton, want to get your thoughts on Buffalo. Obviously, we got our guy, quarterback Jason Wright, first year on campus there. Probably we'll see some limited action. Hopefully we get some blowouts here so he gets thrown at, in the game. We'll see. But what are your thoughts on him? We'll go ahead and bring up the predictions and what they're looking like. We got him predicted 8-4, and just give me your thoughts on him.
Well, just to touch a little bit more about the quarterback. He actually started his career at Penn State. Then he went to UConn, then Kansas
That's
State.
right.
So
Yeah.
he was a big recruit. Actually, he had a lot of talent coming out. He was a lot behind a lot of NFL caliber quarterbacks at Penn State. So that's when he decided to transfer to UConn. UConn just wasn't good, so a lot of it probably wasn't his fault. Then he picked a bad place to go last year. Avery Johnson was there, so this guy's just never really had an opportunity to shine. He's got a chance now. Maybe he can live up to his pedigree. I hope he does, man. But Buffalo's always an interesting team. It seems like their defense has always played so good, even though they
Shout out to Lil Mac.
Since him though, they've really not had any NFL guys, but their defense is seemingly every year is top 5 in the MAC. They're the most physical team in the MAC almost every year, and their running back, man, I love Al-Jay Henderson. 1,000-yard season last year. Might be the best returning back in the MAC. So if they can pave him some holes, I like Buffalo, man. Like he said, it's all about the quarterback. If Roberson plays up to his high school pedigree and he can be that dual threat that he's supposed to be, yeah, they can definitely go 8-4, man.
I like the 8-4.
Yeah, and Buffalo actually returned 74% of their defense from last year. So, I mean,
74%, nice.
Yeah, that's going to be another dominant looking defense.
Dude, I'll never forget. We were doing trivia one night at Gerstl's, and there was a Buffalo game on, and they were getting blown out. We left. They came back, won. Classic Maction night. Classic Maction Tuesday night game. I mean, just so many times Buffalo would look down and out, and they came back last year. And I remember when Jason committed there, I'm like, is he kind of committing too early? Like, could he probably get some more offers? And then, bam, Buffalo had a pretty decent season last year, and it's looking like a good opportunity for him.
Another reason I'm excited about Roberson is the quarterback history of Buffalo. You got Tyree Jackson, Kyle Van Treese was a very good college quarterback, and then you had the guy last year. So you have 3 good quarterbacks in the last 10 years at a MAC school. That says a lot about a MAC school. So I think they know how to develop quarterbacks. So maybe, you know what I mean? Maybe they can give this guy a pedestal and able to up his game.
Get him out, get him to the league because we need Jason on the field, pretty much. So,
well, I mean, hey, good news for Jason is Roberson's on his 6th year, and the backup behind him, Gunnar Gray's a redshirt senior.
Oh, let's
go.
I know. Redshirt senior?
Yeah.
Nice.
I know. They had somebody, I don't know if they lost somebody in the spring or something, and then Jameer Scott, our guy, DB at Wisconsin, they had a DB transfer out. It's been looking good for the both of them on depth chart level, just like looks like they went to perfect situations. Perfect.
They had a kid transfer to Albany, I think. So,
yeah. They had their
nice.
another quarterback transfer. I was like, man, this is shaping up perfect for Jason.
Maybe QB3 as a freshman.
Yeah. I think, and he's like, I heard one of the guys from Draft Professor saying he did pretty good at spring games. So be on the lookout for quarterback Jason Wright and bright future for Buffalo. Let's go ahead and get into the third place finisher prediction wise here in the MAC. We have Miami of Ohio, Ben Roethlisberger. Uncle used to be their left tackle for Big Ben. Shout out Reedy. Shout out Rob. Big game with Wisconsin. We just talked about our guy at Wisconsin, Jameer Scott. So that's pretty cool that they played them first game. Let's go ahead and talk about
The first three games are really fun.
They're going to have a rough first 3 games.
You think?
Wisconsin, yeah. Rutgers, maybe. UNLV for sure. I'll take Dan Mullen.
Call me crazy. They got a chance in all 3 of those games. What do you think, Mark? I'm not saying they're going to win. They have a chance in all 3 of those games.
8-4.
A chance with Finn if he plays up to his talent level 2 years ago.
Yeah, the issue is your first game. I know he's been with the conference in Toledo, but first game with your new team, you're going into a hostile territory. It's a night game at Wisconsin.
Cheese. They're going to be all cheesed up.
It's not good anymore, though. They don't have backs anymore.
Yeah. I mean, Wisconsin's going to be good enough to beat them.
It's the first game in Wisconsin where there's nothing to freaking do. The place is going to be rocking.
People told me this last year when Miami of Ohio played Cincinnati. Is Wisconsin that much better than Cincinnati last year? Let's just take a second to think about that.
I'm
biased.
That much better. Like Billy Edwards is coming in. I know people are over the board about him. Me and Dan like him.
I like him.
But a lot of people don't like Billy Edwards at all. They still don't have a back like they are supposed to have every year. Right? They're supposed to have a good back every year. The past 20 years, the past 5, they haven't had a back. They have no receivers to speak of. They just have no blue chip guys. They have no blue chip guys, man.
Yeah.
So you're liking Daquan Finn. I mean, we were going to talk about him in a second, but Deion Colsey, we can go ahead and talk about him right now. Notre Dame's transfer. I love these 2 transfers. I mean, it's going to be a tandem to watch. You might be right, Dalton. I mean, this might be a very tough game for Fickell and Wisconsin. We're going to see. But obviously, we're going to find out. I can't wait.
I don't like the air raid system in Wisconsin.
It's like a spread air raid. I don't like it either. But Fickell just rubs me the wrong way in a good way. It's kind of like Ryan Day. Like, he's a Ohio State guy. They're both really similar. It's like, if you give Luke Fickell players, he'd be okay. We'll see. I want to get your thoughts on Mark here, just on an overlook of all their players. Who's going to show out for them this year?
Yeah, I do like the Finn and Colsey connection. I think that's a great duo there for sure. Kirkland's going to probably end up being over at right tackle. I mean, he was a big-time talent. I remember Deion recruiting him over at Colorado, so that's a big get there for them. I mean, again, Miami, it kind of, again, is about the quarterback. Now, they're only returning 15% of their offense from last year.
Okay.
But, again, if there's going to be a guy you're going to replace Javon Tracy with, I mean, Colsey's probably the best option they were going to be able to get, I mean, again, the quarterback. I mean, you could probably say it for every team, but
every team,
the new quarterback coming in, can he take that step and get them to the promised land?
Do you remember what their record was last year?
Miami?
Yeah,
9-5.
9-5. I thought they were good. Yeah, with Brett Gabbert. This guy's better than Brett Gabbert.
I agree.
That's the only point. Daquan Finn is better than Brett Gabbert.
I just think.
And Gage Larverdine left 2 years ago. He wasn't there last year either. I mean, they have all their best receivers always transfer out. Happening again. They always seem to replace a receiver, find another one who just goes to another Power 4 conference school. So who knows what it's going to be this year? But I think they're going to have a receiver that's going to break out like always. Gage Larverdine did it. And then, what's the other guy's name, man?
Well, I just think
there's another guy I can't think
of. I think they're both like kind of even in a sense. Both these teams are better than people think. Miami's a lot better than people I think are going to give them credit for, but so is Wisconsin. I just think it evens out. I think it'll be a closer game than people think, but I don't know. I think they could upset Rutgers though. Looking now, since we kind of get the open up the package here, cut into the cake. We could kind of see what we're looking at here with Miami of Ohio. I do like them at Rutgers a little bit more. But I will stand on UNLV. Give me some Dan Mullen. I love him, and I love him. But I respect the schedule though, because we just went from a team who really had just Kentucky and that was it, right, and then
Yeah, Toledo.
that's
Yeah.
gonna be
Yeah,
Toledo.
they had Washington State, I think, was snuck in
Washington State. You're right.
Yeah, Washington State's. I mean,
We'll talk about
It's
the
not a Power 4
we'll
school
talk-
though anymore.
I know.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Pac-12 here in a minute. They're working on getting some more teams there. Me as a Gonzaga fan, I just want to see as many good teams we can go in there. So we'll see. But all right, well, we have 8-4 here for them as well for the Red Hawks. They're trying to put some respect on their name, get some recognition. Trying to not get confused with some Canes. I like the 8-4 prediction. Do I know where the 4 losses are going to come from? Obviously, we don't know. It's a big couple of weeks, first 3 weeks. But I think it's going to be a good season. We got them finishing third. Do you see them shooting themselves in the foot and kind of slipping a couple spots? What's more likely, that or them winning this whole dang conference?
They need to start 1-2. I think if you come out of those first 3 games 1-2 and healthy, then you have essentially your max schedule coming up.
yeah.
I think you put and Lindenwood, which should be an easy win there
Yeah.
for homecoming. You control your own destiny there. They're tough games. They're at Ohio, at Buffalo, but then they do get Toledo at home. I think those first 3 games, even if they only go 1-2, it's going to be telling as to how competitive they are, to how they, are with Wisconsin and Rutgers and whatnot. But that being said, if they start 0-3, Finn goes down, running game's not strong, I could see him slip into that 6-6 area, 5-7, 6-6. I mean, it just takes 1 or 2 things for things to kind of unravel a bit,
For sure.
Yeah, I think you made a good point. We're going to see, these first 3 games, we're going to see what kind of team they have this year pretty early and their identity pretty early. If you're going to assume that people are going to be healthy. I like the thing now. It's going to kind of slip here with records. We're going to have a little bit of a drop off slowly but surely with the MAC conference here this year. Let's go ahead into our next team. We just finished up Miami. Now the next team is Ohio Bobcats. Now, Mark, you are in Ohio. So many teams are in Ohio here, just running the MAC. Land of great recruits. A lot of the guys are staying in home in state and, coming to these MAC schools. I want to get your thoughts here on your prediction and how you came to the prediction there this year and what we should be looking for the Bobcats this year.
So first off, I don't know if you guys are familiar. They have a quarterback recruit that goes by the name of Hype Grant. Are you guys familiar with him?
Hype?
No.
Hype Grant.
Hype Grant. That's a great name.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's automatically all MAC name team.
For sure.
Uh-huh.
Never seen him play. Don't know what he looks like or anything, but I had to make sure I threw that out there at least.
No, I love that.
But honestly, kind of the same deal as we were just talking about with Miami. Those first 3 games are going to kind of be telling. I could see him going to Rutgers and playing upset. And the following week they they're home against West Virginia, which that's a big game for them to host. Good for Ohio for being able to bring in a West Virginia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good
then
point.
after that, they go to Ohio State. So again, it's if you can go out of that streak 1-2 and you're healthy and you're competitive, you got Gardner Webb and then the MAC the rest of the way.
I like it.
A lot of these MAC schools are playing the same non-conference schools, man. Because we already had one team playing West Virginia, and then Miami of Ohio was playing Rutgers too. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It kind of like leads into where I see these schools breaking off, and just like if you're a fan of conferences, I think get your DVR out, record as many as you can because it's just a good point of like these conferences. You can just have not this be called the MAC or these guys be a part of different conferences and still be the same caliber of teams. Why beat up on each other? But it's curious to see. Now West Virginia's got a quarterback there coming in, Scotty Fox, who we got to see throw last year. He won a weightlifting competition there for the Mountaineers. He's was top 10 in weights this past week or something. I'm telling you, he's pushing weight in West Virginia.
He's small.
For Rich Rod.
Oh,
he's like top on.
That's awesome.
He did the most bench press something this week at quarterback. So they're gonna have their work cut out for their West Virginia.
Maybe he'll take Nico Martial's job, man.
Hey, now I know FCS football. I love the quarterback play in FCS just because we've seen so many guys trickle down. Gardner Webb is going to be a tougher game than people think. Obviously, the Bobcats should come out with the win. but I think it's going to be a little bit tougher than people think. And want to get your thoughts here, Mark, on the players, because we didn't really get to touch on too many of the players. Are any of these guys on our list going to just show out for them? I know they got some transfers here. We got some South Alabama, some Arkansas Pine Bluff. But look at this guy for Shippensburg. I mean,
Josh White.
We got guys from all over FCS coming up to play in MAC this year.
You know what? When you're the MAC and you're that small fish in a big pond,
Yeah.
you got to go deep into the lake and find some food for yourself. And that's what Ohio's really good at doing, just finding talent, finding just and plugging holes and stuff. So Bangura was an Ohio running back, went to Minnesota, thought it was the promised land, didn't exactly work out. Now he's back.
Yeah, Darius Taylor had something to say about that. Darius Taylor's really good. Darius Taylor was Minnesota's back. That's why he didn't play. I mean, that guy was just—he's going to be
sure.
He might be a top 3-round pick when he.
I know, but I mean, just with the running back, it just all depends on what system you're going to. Obviously, he probably didn't think he was going to beat him out, but he probably thought he was going to get some carries. And the coach is like, "Yo, I got this playmaker, bro. I'm not taking him off the field." So I see both arguments, but like you said, he's behind a straight up stud.
Darius Taylor's he's one of the best sophomore backs in the country.
And a lot of that goes to what we've seen with recruiting and Matthew Sluka and just guys could have just had the wrong guys in his ear. We just never know. And now he's just trying to back and wants to play some ball and be on the field.
There's something I got to say about Ohio, just as a program. I feel like they never beat teams they're not supposed to beat.
Yes.
But they always beat the teams they're supposed to beat.
Yeah.
One of those teams. They never play above expectations.
Yeah.
They hardly get upset ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they're favored, oh, great. Bet on them. They're going to win. If they're not favored, don't throw money on them. They're not going to win. It just seems like they've been like that forever. So if they're favored in 7 games this year, yeah, they're going to go 7-5.
Okay.
That's my opinion on them.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's pretty accurate, honestly. They overachieved a little bit last year. I mean, it was Smith's first year taking over a head coach there. So they won their last 7.
Yeah, they were hot at the end of the year. I remember that.
So, I mean, I'm trying to think, what did they finish here? 11-3. So, I mean, winning your last 7, and then I think they lost the bowl game. But, yeah, I mean, and that's a culture program. That's one of those places that,
exactly,
like you said, how they don't get upset, beat the teams,
Oh, for sure.
That's kind of just like ingrained into their system. It's like a trickle down effect.
Yeah, it's just weird. It's just one of those teams where it's like, you can, trade in out the players. They're just going to play the same because they play at Ohio and just play for these MAC schools. They have such a unique coaching, style, which it translates to a unique playing style. And that's why they make such entertaining Tuesday night, Wednesday night, television. And, occasionally we'll get an ESPN Instant Classic.
I mean, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Mark, I think they only had like 4 or 5 quarterbacks the last 12 years, right? Like, they had Tyler Tettleton, then the Rourks.
I just remember they had number 4.
They had Tettleton and the Rourks. I know Tettleton started 3 years. And
they had
Curtis Rourke started 3 years. Nathan Rourke started a couple years.
They had a kid, Armani something. He tried out tight end.
Oh,
he
I know
was
you're talking about, man.
quarterback
he played in the NFL for
a couple.
minute, actually.
Yeah.
Transferred and played tight end. Yeah, I don't know if he transferred, but he played tight end at the end. Yeah, I know
he tried tight end in the NFL, I believe.
Yeah,
I
can't remember his name.
For a couple of years in Ohio.
But they haven't had many quarterbacks. They've had a great quarterback room forever. Started with Tyler Tettleton, and it hasn't stopped since. And then Parker Navarro's the next one. They always get good MAC quarterbacks, and like you said, this guy ran for 1,000 yards last year. Great dual threat quarterback. It starts and ends with this guy, I think. And Bangura coming back. We'll see how he does it. But 2 years ago, he dominated the MAC. So.
Yeah, and then like you said, we got 7-5 for the record. 7 those wins. They might be some party record wins, some season records for a couple teams just trying to make a run and be that top team out the MAC. Probably knock a team out of MAC conference championship contention. Pull maybe grab a team in there, put them in there. Pull a Fran Brown, help Dabo out, things like that. So we'll see what happens. We got our first 4 teams covered here, 7-5. Our next team is Northern Illinois, which we have at a 7-5 record. we'll go ahead and get their schedule pulled up here. They obviously had the really big win against Notre Dame last year. They have our guy Bryshon Brown, quarterback, just committed there a couple weeks ago, which we will see in a couple weeks at 7-on-7. So have our eyes to this program to see we know they have the bright future, but we're going to see what happens this year. Let's get into it, Mark. Let's want to get your thoughts on NIU. We have them at a 7-5 record, and what do you think about the squad here?
So, unfortunately for them, only 35% overall coming back from the team last year. So that's like 127th in the nation. So a lot of talent being replaced. And that being said, they didn't add a lot of guys either. And I'm just gonna do a quick read here. Here are some of the schools that they got guys from: McKendree, Shepherd, Albany, Yale, Wayne State, Dartmouth, Saginaw Valley, Lemoore Rhine, Valparaiso. So,
Wow.
they went deep diamond hunting.
Deep, and we're just hoping they have some elite.
I mean,
scouting.
Valparaiso is actually that's the craziest one on the list. That's a non-scholarship conference. They're in the Morehead State Conference,
Patriot
so
League or whatever.
that's crazy. Yeah. They are trying to leave any stone unturned for sure. But I mean, I will say one thing about IU: they are very consistent, man. I feel like they're always above 6-6. So the 7-5 record, I like the prediction, Mark.
Yeah, and their quarterback last year, Ethan Hampton's going to regular Illinois instead of Northern Illinois, and they're bringing in quarterback Jackson Proctor from Dartmouth. So that's going to be, again, how's he going to be able to come in and kind of take over the team? Is that step going to be too much for him? He played good last year. He threw 68.5%, 13 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 352 yards of rushing on 6.5 carry and 4 touchdowns there. So, I mean, he's athletic and he's a pretty good thrower. So, can the talent, though, adjustment be there for him?
I agree.
13 touchdowns though. You said. I mean, I don't know. I didn't watch much Dartmouth film, but that
getting to the goal line and he was running.
I say I didn't watch Dartmouth film, so maybe his receivers were bad. But
to be
12
fair,
games,
7 games. 7
oh,
games.
okay.
I like that.
Almost 2 a
makes me
game.
feel
Almost
better.
2 a game.
Now Wayne State, they have some guys actually transferring up. A couple. Our guy Jackson Fowden, I think he got from there a couple weeks ago. But NIU, man, like you said, they're pretty much pulling from the depths here, and we're going to see if they have some elite scouting or not. I think it's going to be very interesting to see. We know they got a stud quarterback coming in with our guy Bryshon, but we'll see if some of these other gambles, as some people would say, from a lower division, see if it'll pay off for them. They are playing SEC talent here. They're playing Mississippi State. They're playing Maryland. So I do want to give a shout out to that. I think that's pretty respectable. Now it's Coach Hammock, right? Or Hammond?
Hammock, yeah.
He used to play for NIU. He was a fullback or running back, I believe. So I love a guy, coaching his alma mater. I think it's going to be a good year for him. I think it's going to be a good year. Obviously, they're just hoping to keep some of these games close. Mississippi State, who knows? Can they have another big upset? Can they do 2 in a row? Want to get you and Dalton's thoughts on here. Out of these 2 big teams, back-to-back pay games, which you don't see that too many times, Maryland and then Mississippi State. Mark, we'll start with you. Out of those 2, which ones do they have the best shot at upsetting?
Man, I kind of feel like Maryland is going to probably be the one that, if they're going to win, it's going to be Maryland. I feel like, they're going to more than likely beat Holy Cross week 1. Yeah. So
Holy Cross is really good, though.
More than likely. Yeah, who knows, I guess.
No, they should, but they're always in the top. They've been in the top 10 the past few years in FCS.
They have.
They've had a good QBs the past few years, but they should win. You're right.
They just had I'm trying to draw on a blanket. Their tight end transferred into the MAC. Actually,
that's where Sluka.
Sluka went from there.
Yeah, right. Okay, yeah. So, and I going into an SEC school when you're not used to the SEC, I feel like is a little bit different. Especially for a MAC team, kind of like that. I feel like their atmosphere, play style definitely pairs better with a team from like the Big Ten.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's going to be their best shot. Dalton, what are your thoughts here on Maryland and Mississippi State? Are they just going to get blown out both games here, or do they have a shot at all?
The play style thing Mark mentioned is a huge point, but also Mississippi State is only SEC by name.
Okay, that's how I feel about Missouri. But okay,
But Missouri's way better.
I'm biased.
If Missouri plays Mississippi State 10 times this year, Missouri's winning 9. That's my point. I know what you mean. They were late entrant, but if we're talking about on-field skill, Missouri's killing Mississippi State, man.
Not anything since 2013.
They're terrible, yeah. So Maryland's not going to be good this year either, though, man. I think this is the last year for Loxley. I think this is his last year.
I agree.
He hasn't done anything there. He's had a lot of talent this year. This year, he don't have any talent. So he's relying on either a freshman quarterback or a transfer from UCLA who hasn't played 20 snaps. So they don't have a quarterback. So, yeah, I agree with the Maryland pick. I want to pick Mississippi State just because I know how bad they are.
I want to put some money on it now here, dude, to upset that.
But I got to just mention one thing about how much I hate NIL when it comes to this kind of thing. Okay. Ethan Hampton is transferring to be a backup.
Yeah. Instead
of staying here and starting.
Yeah.
Because he got $1 million maybe. But
yeah,
he's not taking Luke Altmaier's job, dude.
No.
You know what I mean?
It's the love of the game, I guess, could be, and it also is like, I'm not gonna be going pro regardless. Let me get a bag and go be the most popular guy on the team, and
let me go get some free Nike gear. Let me go, go get me a nice.
That's kind of what his career might be similar to John Paddock. Remember John Paddock from Miami, Ohio, transferred to Illinois, and he actually when he got the chance to play, he actually balled out. He was just always his backup.
It's all about circumstances, situations, fit, all that type of stuff. Just like how Finn struggled last year in the SEC, with Baylor.
I agree. We'll see what happens, man. I think it's going to be an interesting season for them. Exactly. A lot of new names we're going to have to learn. A lot of guys we're going to see on film for the first time, and we'll see if they can pull up some upsets. We'll see. But going to our next school here, 7-5 with our last record. Now our next team here, we are looking at Bowling Green. Schedule release here. Schedule is I don't know. I've been kind of grading all these schedules internally, but they're starting off here. They got Cincinnati. They got Louisville. They got let's see some other games here. It's about it on the.
There's a Liberty in there.
Who's the first game, Loyola?
The first game.
Lafayette.
Yeah.
Lafayette is the first game. That should be.
They got 3 tough games in a row, man. Cincinnati and Liberty and Louisville.
Yeah, man, we got them going 6-6. It's going to be a hard season for them. We've already talked about Drew a couple times. Let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room. A Missouri transfer here, SEC guy. They're losing Harold Fannin. They're replacing him with an SEC guy coming from Florida. They're trying to plug and play here, but our predictions are showing, hey, it's going to be a tough season. The MAC is not nothing you can just, let me go grab an SEC guy. Okay, cool, we're going to win. This is a hard conference. Mark's alluded to it. He wants people to put some respect on MAC, and it's deserving because, there's some guys, all around. A lot of future NFL guys, no matter which day. I don't care which day you get drafted, undrafted. I don't care if you're wearing it. You're in the NFL locker room. You're in the NFL. So want to get your thoughts here. We'll start off with Dalton there. We got 6-6 for the record. Do you see them possibly upsetting their 2 what they call pay games with Cincinnati and Louisville?
I really don't think they have a shot against Louisville this year.
No.
Their 2-headed backfield, they got Isaac Brown, Duke Watson. Probably just going to run all over them. They won't really have to throw unless they're really behind the stick, a holding or something.
Yeah.
So
Cincinnati. Okay, so you're maybe Cincinnati. They got a shot.
Yeah, possibly? For sure. I just Satterfield there. Not a huge believer in him. They lost to Miamiville last year. They weren't supposed to lose to Miamiville last year, and they did. So that's a team a MAC school can upset absolutely. And then who knows how good Liberty's going to be this year? Salter's transferring out. Cooley's gone.
This is Lafayette.
Yeah, no, they play Liberty too.
Oh, they do.
The third game, yeah.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
Liberty snuck in there.
Oh, yeah. It's all these white. Yeah. It's all these whited out logos.
So Liberty. Who knows how good they're going to be? If they can upset Cincinnati, and then they can start 3-0 going into Louisville.
Get some momentum going. I know. At least cover the spread on Louisville if you're a betting man. So I agree with that. Drew Pine's gonna try to go out with a bang here and try to be a guy. And
the thing is though, Terrion Stewart, such a big loss. Virginia Tech Virginia Tech fans are loving this kid. He's going to be an NFL draft pick, and that's tough to lose in the MAC, man.
I know.
He was the best back in the conference probably last year. If not, he was top 5 for sure. And he's just great after contact. He has great vision. He's fast. So that's going to be tough to replace him, but we'll see what Boardingham does. He was a starter at Florida as a freshman.
Hard to do.
Ended up losing his job because he couldn't block. We needed a guy like that. But this guy's got all the talent in the world to be one of those split out Devin Funchess types.
Ooh, I like the comp there. Bill Sparks would be happy with that comp, the comp king. Okay, so yeah, like you said, it's going to be a hard season for him. A lot of prove it season for these guys. Mark, I want to get your thoughts here. You know, you kind of got us together on the MAC as a whole, especially with Bowling Green. What are your thoughts here?
So, not going to try and pronounce the Edge's name from UCLA.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's one of the higher rated guys that transferred in. He's going to be a starter right away. And then on the other side, it's going to probably be Eddie George's kid, Eric George, with a Q.
Cool.
So that's two guys coming in with, and Eddie brought a lot of guys in from Tennessee State, where he came from.
Yeah,
So
where he's at.
a lot of the talent and stuff is coming from there as well. And that's a huge thing too, is when you're starting over and with a program like Eddie George, you're taking a team who had some recent success with Fannin and recent guys and whatnot, but then you're also adding an influx of talent and excitement. So it could really be a good blend there of just different things coming in.
I agree. I think it's a big year. They got some holes to replace, but it looks like they got some at least solid pieces to go, and fill them. We're going to see if they can kind of, fill in those shoes of guys that just left and see if they can, put some numbers together, turn some heads of some pro scouts. And, that's what it's all about here with the MAC. I mean, these guys know that national championships is not, pretty much in the hopes for them. There's nothing wrong with that. They're out here to get bowl wins, set records, win conference championships. And that's why I love the MAC so much is they still play hard. And you got guys that, Texas, if they might, sit out the bowl game, start sitting out because they're out of the playoffs. With these guys, don't matter, most of these guys, they're going to be going hard because, they know it's only a limited amount of football and it's getting harder and harder to make it. It's getting harder and harder to make it just in college, let alone the pros. So,
right.
Absolutely.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So go ahead, Mark. You got something to say?
Yeah, I was Lamperin from Dayton. 99 tackles last year. Out of those 99, 23 and a half tackles for loss.
Oh, man.
Oh, damn. Sounds like a
with
young
6.5
Mike
with 6.5 tackles or 6.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries.
Okay, somebody keep an eye on for sure.
Yeah, so I'm throwing it in right now. And I mean, I understand the talent level, but as a linebacker, sideline to sideline linebacker type guy, getting into the backfield, I'm going to say he's going to probably end up being that guy who's like an all MAC guy for Eddie George.
Fair enough.
Okay. I love it. I think it's good. Eddie George.
Hey, there's some guys from Dayton in the NFL, man. Shout out Adam Trotman.
Yeah, I forgot about Trotman. You're right.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So it can happen, just because you went to a small school don't mean you're a bum. You just got overlooked in high school, maybe, man.
Sure. Yeah.
So now you ain't getting overlooked. Maybe he can hopefully he transfers his production over to the MAC.
I agree. We're gonna see. I think
Finn Hogan's good too.
That's what I say. Finn Hogan. I was just gonna say Finn Hogan. I'm excited to see what he's gonna do. Cool name, and we'll see if he has a cool game, and we'll see if they can, beat us out here. I mean, we're rooting for them to beat our predictions. Get a winning season, go out there, get 2 above 500, including the bowl game. Ball out. But it's gonna be a hard conference. Eddie George had a late start, took the job late, and you kind of have to earn your licks. We love FCS, but this isn't FCS. I could see a growing year. If 6-6 being your first year to FBS coach, we'll take that. And I think it's going to be a decent year for him. But the next team we got here, Mark, is Central Michigan. I like their schedule here, kind of Tech Bowl, something here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. This is cool. It makes me just think of Bo Jackson immediately.
Better.
Yeah. So give us your thoughts here on Central Michigan while we get the predictions pulled up and what they're looking like this year.
Oh, Michigan and Pitt.
Yeah, so first 3 games on the road's always not a ideal scenario, especially on the West Coast, 10:30 time slot there. It looks like on my schedule I have. So, that's a tough start, obviously. Playing a big, even if they're not championship level good like they were a few years ago, Michigan's always going to be tough.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, it's
Bryce Underwood. We'll see if he's going to start first year. We'll see.
yeah, but I mean, honestly, I'm looking through their MAC schedule. Really, a pretty easy or MAC schedule. I mean, you're at Bowling Green, and then you're home against Buffalo and home against Toledo, and that's really like your biggest games there. So, I mean, they were 4-8 last year. I don't think they're gonna, you know, be a
Surprising.
dark horse, so to speak, or anything. But I mean, they, hey, 6-6, maybe, 5 or 7-5 if they get lucky. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, and you brought up a good point with scheduling. We see so many of these guys here in the MAC. I mean, they go hard FBS team, easy FCS, and then you turn around and got 3 hard MAC games in a row. I mean, it's been a gauntlet for a few of these teams that we've reviewed so far. But they have some faces here, guys from Tulane. They got guys from Columbia, another FCS transfer up, another Indiana State transfer up. Shout out to Sycamores and Maddox Blackwell. Got another DB and Kalen Carroll from Cincinnati. So, I mean, they got some guys who's been around some college football, and they got guys returning as well that you had on here. So, Chris Parker is a guy, we'll see if he can ball out. Central Michigan. These are guys that, not a lot of people know, but, they could definitely show out. Central Michigan, we got them going 6-6 here. As you said, we could see them pull off maybe a 7-5. And a 1-game improvement, I think, is not something just to scoff at, especially with these conferences that are kind of beating up on each other. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, last year they were 4-8,
right?
So if they could almost get 3 more wins than last year, I mean that'd be a huge improvement.
Huge.
But their thing again, quarterback play. That's what it's come down to. Their starter last year, 6 games. Well, let me back up here. They had 4 guys play at quarterback. 7 games, 6 games, 4 games, 3 games. So a lot of inconsistency there,
Yeah.
And their main guy, who should be starting this year, Joey Labus, 7 touchdowns, 7 picks.
God.
So
they missed. So basically, you're saying they missed Jim McElwain.
I don't know. Let's not go crazy. But.
No, I had to say as a Florida fan. He actually had a couple good years there, though. They competed well with some bigger conference schools. I remember when they played them non-conference. So.
I know, but that was kind of early on. Those are other guys, right? Other coaches' guys. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm just hating.
He was there for 4 years, I think. He didn't get fired though. He resigned.
Yeah, he resigned.
He was like, "I'm done."
I haven't seen a coach get fired in like 10 years. They just all part ways, and they all just agree to part ways. I haven't seen a coach get fired in so long. It's just gotten so soft out here. I don't get it. I mean, hey, you can pay me millions. You could say fired in big bold print all you want across the Journal, whatever newspaper, New York Times. Put it across. Daniel gets fired. As long as I get my millions, I'm cool. I don't care what you say.
No. Browns
about Central Michigan though.
Browns got so much dead cap. They're just
the Browns, man.
The Browns are dead cap, man. They're just dead cap you. We can talk about the Browns forever, which I cannot wait to talk about the Browns and all these teams in Ohio, NFL, college throughout the off season, regular season, postseason. Because I mean, we got guys to talk about from high school. We got some interesting programs here in Ohio. And then obviously we got Mark here going to keep us covered on the Browns. One of the most interesting quarterback situations in all of the league going into this year. I mean, it doesn't get too many, interesting and unique than what they have going on there. I mean, they got a quarterback gumbo. They got about 8 different quarterbacks, 8 different play styles of quarterbacks, and they don't know what they want.
With all due respect, I might be the only one who doesn't care about the QB battle because it doesn't matter it doesn't matter who wins the job. They're not going to the playoffs.
I was gonna say I think it's I think it's great that you find it interesting. To me, it's like just 4 dudes that I just
I think me too.
Are probably not going to be the answer, And
Browns going to pick first next year, and they're going to draft whoever they want. They're going to draft Cade Klubnik, Garrett Nussmeier.
Well, hey, honestly, Arch Manning's the best quarterback to ever come out. So
yeah, because they got the best college quarterback ever to come out that ever walked the earth.
I think he'll come back anyway.
I mean, bro, if I'm a
With
college,
NIL
if I'm a college
nowadays.
kid, I'm
will.
filing 80,000 waivers to keep me in there and get me that money. And
Oh, he's like red shirts.
me
You don't
become
got
a man. You're saying I become a man amongst boys and get paid every year? Okay, I'll take that. I mean, all day. So we're getting to the thick of it here. Now our next team on the MAC here, we're finishing up. We're going to Western Michigan. Now their schedule is wild. Just on their graphics team, I mean, it's wild. If I can get it pulled up here, I want to get your thoughts on Western Michigan as my mouse is going crazy. What we had them? What was the record? We have Western Michigan going. We had them going 5-7, which is going to be a rough year for them if I can get it pulled up. I want to take the schedule. Are there any upsets they can do? I know it's a question here with all of them. It's easier to see maybe of what they can upset as opposed to go through every single game and count out their wins. So we got Illinois, we got Michigan State. These are the two games we're looking at. I mean, probably not going to upset any of these games, but what are you thinking, Mark?
If you're saying let's go with one game, honestly, opening weekend at Michigan State, it's a small travel. It's a pretty bad Michigan State team.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, I mean things kind of line up. I mean they have a really good running back in Jalen Buckley, so he can be that game breaking type of guy. I Brock Lowry, I doesn't have much experience, but I want to say he was pretty highly rated coming out, and they had a pretty good quarterback last year. So Lowry stepping in for Hayden Wolf.
Good career.
Yeah, and yeah, but I overall I agree. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of upset potential here throughout their schedule, and I 4 to 6 wins is going to probably be their range.
Yeah, I feel like this team's been really boring since Minnesota's coach.
Well,
What's his name? Guy that left. He got him to a BCS game.
yeah,
PJ Fleck.
PJ Fleck.
Yeah,
I feel like ever since he's left, this has been one of the most boring teams in FBS football.
yeah, they felt like an independent team. Where it's just like they don't seem like a MAC school. They seem like I don't know. I get them in Wyoming all the way mixed up, and it's not just because of the logo and colors. I don't know. I just don't think about them when I'm trying to think of a dark horse.
Every couple years, though, they do have a stud. Marshawn Nealon, 2 years ago.
I mean, bro, like it's what's the NIL. I mean, so many of these G5 schools can just start being whatever you want to be, a feeder program. If you want to just be a guy that just is early on guys and develops them. I mean, there's a beauty in all this mess. There's a beauty in some 5-7 if you can say, hey, that guy left Western Michigan, but he starts for Ohio State now. And, we can root for him or whatever. I mean, you try to find small victories, but they're going to try to find as many small victories as they can. I mean, 5-7 is what we have them going. Like you said, Brock Lowry is a guy that I've heard the name before. I don't know like what his stars or whatever was coming out, but if a good quarterback can make or break your team, like we said, of all these teams, it comes down to quarterback play with most of these guys. But we'll see. Like you said, I agree with you. I don't think there's too much more to talk about on Western Michigan side. So we'll go ahead and get to the next team here, which is none other than your Akron Zips here, Mark. I want to get your thoughts here. I mean, hey, this is your squad here. Like you said, you're a little biased, and I love that.
Let us know.
Yeah, so I can't go undefeated since, they aren't going to be bowl eligible this year, unfortunately.
I know. Talk about that.
Yeah,
talk about
it
for people
sucks.
that don't know. They're not able to get into a bowl and expand on that.
Yeah, so I guess from my very limited understanding of the situation, because I didn't really want to read it because I was just how, what, why.
Yeah.
But my understanding is essentially their overall grade point average is just not equal enough to what it's supposed to be. The APR score is what it's called. So teams must earn a 4-year average APR of 930, and I believe Akron their average is like 914.
Okay.
Over the 4-year penalty. So
that's so interesting because it's like, man, we see with all the house settlements and stuff going through NIL, salaries, all that stuff, profit sharing, all that stuff. they're saying, all right, we're going to get rid of, it's pretty much the term student athlete is pretty much out the window. But then we have the NCAA turn around and trying to be a stickler here on academics. It's just another thing that's just another bad look on the NCAA. I don't really look at it as if Akron is not doing their job. How can they get their GPA up to where it needs to be when their team's changing every 3 or 4 months? Do you think they're just this is on the NCAA or more of an on Akron thing?
I don't know. I'm kind of the mindset there's got to be something to holding
Yeah.
these guys accountable, because
Yeah,
with
I agree.
today's technology, you can take online classes, you can do things outside of a classroom.
Right.
And I mean, college classes are very easy, especially the ones that these players are taking. Yeah, I know some players that have played in the past and stuff, and I've talked to them, and for the most part, obviously, the classes are kind of handed to them, so
Yeah.
it's not even really that difficult to do.
Yeah.
So I think it also kind of is reflective on the head coach there. Like,
Mostly, yeah.
well undisciplined.
I say my opinion. It's all on Akron. No other school has this happen.
Right.
So I can't be on the NCAA if you ask me. There's no other school has this happen. Duke, Vandy, Stanford, very very high academic schools. They don't give you classes there, and we still don't have this happen. So I think this is absolutely on the coaches, man. I hate to say that, but no other school has it happen. That's the proof's in the pudding, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But not gonna argue with that. I mean, Akron's definitely not an academic school for sure.
I didn't think so either. Like
No.
I wasn't sure, but I didn't.
No.
That's why I didn't say it. But I definitely didn't think it was
No,
very prestigious.
like you said, you got to do something. Coach JB said on Last Chance U, you fail art, freaking draw a picture, man. I mean, just do
Right.
something. Do your work. We're not there to play school, but we're not. You got to do something. You got to show a little effort, I guess. But I don't know. I'm kind of in the middle. I think that it's like maybe a warning thing or something. It's like maybe they've been on a warning, and we don't know.
Yeah,
We don't
for
know
sure, might
like
have.
you said, the inner workings of what's going on. But we do have them finishing 5-7, and we have Jordan Grant here transferring from Tennessee State. We got another guy transferring from just out of nowhere, seemingly
Ben
Upper
Kamara.
Iowa, Ben Kamara. Shout out to him, and then Cyrus Durham from Arizona, and Tim Greer from Fresno State. So they got some guys that they're going to be dependent on to get in some production, even though that the postseason's not going to be a factor. But you're going to see guys pretty much either giving up halfway through the season or absolutely playing balls to the wall till the very last snap. What kind of team do you think we're going to get this year on the field?
Yeah, I honestly, I gotta give Moorhead credit. He's very good at getting talent brought in, and he's good at getting the most effort out of his guys. Every time I'm there, it's always good effort,
Mhm.
and they've not had good teams. I mean, last year 4-8, and that was the best they've been, I believe, since 2017.
Wow.
So,
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, just a bad program. Just
Yeah.
no way to, But Moorhead's doing a pretty good job. It's his 4th year. I mean, I think getting the talent, get a guy like Ben Finley, a guy like Alex Adams, even. They have another receiver, Israel Polk, that's pretty solid. Just keep building and getting these kind of talented guys from these bigger schools. They got Polk is from Pittsburgh. They got another kid from Pittsburgh who's a redshirt freshman this year at receiver. I don't think he'll play much Montario, but just getting talented guys like that and definitely will help their progression for sure.
Yeah, and if you got guys that can make plays, that'll kind of trickle down, to the guys. Have some really seeing that, learn through osmosis, and try to make the same plays they're making. So we'll see. I mean, we've seen Akron try to do everything in their power. They've rebranded. They went from Fear the Rude to they got the new logo. They got they're just trying all their things, which I respect the effort part of it. You hate there's a lot of bad programs out there. Just keep it like the same. They don't try to do anything. They don't try to shake it up. So I do give them some credit. They have a nice stadium, Infocision, which is give them credit in there. It's a nice stadium. But we'll see what happens. I think you're just trying to find beauty in all the madness and try to find some bright points where you can find them, and see if they can give you something to build on when you're bowl eligible next year. So let's go ahead and get into the next team here as we wrap it up. Now we're getting to the back half here of the MAC. great conference here. You know, we've always been excited to watch them on the MACtion. Me and Dalton was watching MACtion like crazy with, along with the rest of the nation, throughout high school. But the next team we got here is Eastern Michigan. Eastern Michigan's schedule pulled up here. Another one with all the white logos. We'll see who they got. All right, UK, pay game. And then Maryland or Miami of Ohio. See, they got the white logo. So I would assume that's Miami of Ohio. And then
For sure.
the Sharks, that's a LIU Brooklyn, I believe.
So I got Texas State, LIU, Brooklyn, Kentucky, Louisiana. Is that Louisiana? Yeah.
So Texas State is that first game. Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Replacing Jordan McLeod.
Texas State, Long Island, Kentucky, Louisiana.
Cool. Now, we already
Another
got. I
Kentucky
got
game.
Kentucky losing, so I think Kentucky's good on this one. I think they're fine against Eastern Michigan. They'll probably do their thing. I think they're going to start 0-1. But what are your thoughts here? Obviously, we have our prediction there at 4-8. They're going to be the same boat as Akron, trying to find some bright spots where they can. But what are you thinking? They got Noah Kim.
Yeah, Noah Kim. And unfortunately for him, he's losing a pretty good running back last year. They're losing their number one guy. So they brought in a couple guys. Joyner from Liberty was one. They brought in a kid from Michigan, Dunlap, who he didn't see much of the field. But, between those two guys and another one returning, they'll probably have more of a three-headed monster, so to speak, behind Kim. So, that being said, talent-wise, there's not a whole lot that they have here. And they're losing a lot. They're only returning 37% of their roster, coming off a 5-7 season already. But it's something you don't see often. This is the 12th season for their head coach coming in.
Really? Wow, that's impressive for sure. But like you said, I was looking through the roster earlier. I was looking through all these rosters, and I was just looking at the projected depth charts, the starters, and going through their stats, and hardly anything here.
Yeah.
Like in terms of production wise, like guys that have 5+ sacks, 500+ receiving yards, 500+ rushing yards. The cupboard's pretty bare here, man.
Yeah. They have a receiver, Terry Lockett. He's gonna be their go-to guy again. They do have a pretty big freshman linebacker coming in. You guys know about him?
No, give us the lowdown.
Oh, here.
Is it Kaniga?
Yeah.
Yeah, Noah?
I was gonna say, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
he's
yeah,
good.
we definitely know
about
him.
Yeah. Drew, I'm telling you, they have guys coming.
I heard he actually been balling.
No,
though.
he's good.
He won like a Camper Award, didn't he?
Yeah, he's good. And
I was gonna say yeah.
Did y'all see Phil Steele though?
No.
What he did in his magazine?
No.
He left the K out.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I
typo.
saw that. Yeah. Big
I blame
typo.
Microsoft Word. I would just blame that all on Bill Gates.
I mean, dude, Phil Steele's been doing this forever, though. You got to have a proofreader, dude. Come on.
Especially that. Like
name.
Phil Steele's been doing this since I was like 6 years old, man. Like,
well, you know that name is gonna
right.
Yeah.
Check it.
It's like there's probably like 10 names of the nation you got to double check, triple check. That's one of
That's
them.
right.
Yeah, it's like a top of the list, especially with him being a freshman.
It's
and,
crazy that happened.
You knew when
Right.
you knew when he signed his letter of intent, and you can't name none of us here can name any of the rest of the Eastern Michigan guys that signed. So you need to make sure that one.
I don't know the last time they had a player drafted.
Well,
just talk about that for a second.
Well, they're trying to get guys. I mean, we see them.
Do you know, Mark?
We got guys that got
That's
Nick
I
Kinsey
was like,
making
I have no idea.
Yeah.
No,
now that I
don't
think
know.
about it,
I feel like it's gonna be like some random like
old lineman or something. DN, maybe 7th round DN.
something. They had a guy a couple. Oh wow, okay. I looked it up. I know they had a lineman in 23 and an edge
23.
in 23, but then they also had Max Crosby. Totally forgot
Oh,
about
of
him.
course. Yeah. Max Crosby, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Great lineman,
So
but since him, then they had no studs, man. It's hard to get studs in the MAC. I get it, but most of these schools at least had a couple in the last 10 years. Like he's been in the league 8 or 9 years, right? So they just need to get high end talent somehow, no matter how they can do it. That's their biggest problem, I think.
yeah, and I this past year though, they were 5th in the MAC and getting talent in. So
Okay.
I think they're kind of starting. Last year they were 3rd.
They
The year
are.
Oh,
before
nice.
they were 3rd.
They are.
So I think they're starting to kind of build a little bit of momentum. I think teams like that are kind of benefiting from the portal in the sense of like they're getting the scraps and leftovers of guys who almost don't have anywhere else to go if they want to
Mm-hmm.
play D1 ball. And, they maybe that's kind of how Noah Kim ended up there.
That's what I was thinking. Like maybe nobody else want to know Cam, right? But hopefully balls out, man. Because I
Yeah.
liked him potential last year. I thought he was gonna end up being the starter. He was not, unfortunately, but now he's got another chance to be the starter. So hopefully makes his mark in the college football world, man. It's always good to see somebody do that. A guy, especially guys recruited high. I mean, Michigan State as a freshman, he's a 4-star.
Right.
Just never lived up to it.
Played early.
And with us getting into the recruiting, and us seeing the guys,
Yeah, he did play early.
meeting the guys face to face who gives out these star ratings, I look at these guys. Okay, maybe there's a lot of people say he didn't live up to his 3 or 4 stars. I just think of it. He should never been given 4
Overrated,
stars in
man.
the first place, and that's not his fault. It's like if you're going to give me a 4 or 5 star rating, I'm gonna take it.
Right.
So it's like I think guys are like, okay, they're kind of a good example. I remember we went to the Nike camp when we played. I was getting looked at by some schools, and I go up against drills, and one guy's committed to LSU, one guy's committed to Auburn lineman.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I know I do not stand on these guys' level, but I'm not weak. So it's like these guys are the same way. They're going to these big programs. Like, okay, I don't belong here, but I'm still a good football player. I'm going to go to a different program that's going to, get me some shine.
For sure.
So I hope I'm rooting for a lot of these guys, and we have some guys coming in from Eastern Michigan next year. We got Nick Kinsey.
Mhm.
We have the receiver he was balling out with at
Yes, sir.
at the
Yes.
camp, and they've gotten a couple guys since then. I don't have the names top of my mind, but I've watched the film, and they're building an identity. And you love to see a team like plant their flag in there. They got the gray field, get some eyes on them. They got some new coaching in there, and they're doing the little things you need to do to try to, build your own brand and kind of do something you've never done before and learn, lead by example and kind of, trial by fire, so to speak. I love when you see programs doing that. I give Akron their kudos, even though it hasn't translated yet. But we could see Eastern Michigan be playing for, potential top 3 MAC spot in the next year or two. I think next 2-3 years.
All right, fair enough.
I think as we harped on Eastern Michigan a good amount. We'll go ahead and move on to the next team that Mark got us together on the MAC preview. We got Ball State. Ball State is a team here where they've been upset by FCS guys in the past. I remember when Indiana State beat them some years back, and you never know, what kind of a Ball State. But they are a team in that same breath that they lost to FCS guys, but they put guys in the league. That's why I love the MAC so much. So, Mark, give me the lowdown here on what you're seeing from Ball State and their schedule, and then we'll get into the prediction and their players.
It's going to be a little bit rough of a year for Ball State, I think, unfortunately for them. I mean, luckily, Purdue's really bad in their own right, but it's still like one of the worst Big Ten schools versus one of the worst MAC schools. So after that, I think Auburn's going to put a pretty good beat down on them. They lost their quarterback from last year. They're only returning 29% of their team. The quarterback they are starting this year, very athlete. I want to say he had snaps at safety and receiver. So, I mean,
Very fast.
you're talking about a guy who talented. They wanted to get him on the field, but not exactly the throwing type guy. So I think it's going to be a little bit of a rough year for Ball State while they kind of, and it's I think it's Uramovic is the guy's coach Uramovic's first year. So first year transition year, definitely 3-9 is right about where they should be.
Yeah, I think that's suitable too. I think that's going to be a pretty similar. Now, another guy's FCS coming up to play FBS ball. Out of these 4 guys, 3 FCS, and then Kennesaw State FCS like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
So, I like Kelly. We'll see you the quarterback, like you said, absolute athlete. You got to put it all together, and but a lot of that's just between the ears, muscle memory, and pretty much, you got to also suit your offense around that player. We'll see what the coach does in his first year. Is the quarterback going to have to adjust to the system, or is the quarterback or the coach going to adjust the system to what he has, talent wise? Dalton, anybody that might stand out for you on Ball State?
Well, I did have to give a shout out to a former Ball State player, actually.
Okay.
I went to Manual High School here in Louisville.
Okay.
Played football at Stewart Youth.
Yeah.
It was 2 years under me. Played football for the Oakland Raiders. His name's Bryce Cosby.
He
Was a
played for
DB at Ball State. Mark, maybe remember him? He was absolute baller in the MAC. Played for the Raiders in the CFL right now. So shout out him.
Nice.
But this year's team, man, there's really not much to get excited about. It's unfortunate because in the past they've had guys, but this year there's just really not much to get excited about unless you like a running quarterback because that's what Kyle Kelly is. I could see him the high end of the spectrum having a Devin Dampier type year from New Mexico last year.
Okay.
What do you think about that, Mark? Is that too high of a ceiling?
I honestly, I couldn't. I haven't seen Kelly at quarterback enough to tell you, but I will say if you're trying to get a guy on the field that much, at when you're trying to get him in different spots and stuff, to me that's he's going to have at least some success. I mean, coaches aren't going to try and put you in multiple positions if you're a not talented guy.
No, for sure.
You gotta be at least be an athlete. Like, okay, man, like if it's 3rd and 6, if you can pick up a 3rd and 6 with your legs as a quarterback, that can steal you a couple games when you're just dead to rights and 3rd down feels like 4th down for so many bad teams. When you don't have a good quarterback, you get into 3rd and 6 and everybody in the stands know they're passing. It's like, oh my god, this might be a pick.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many teams like that, and like you said, that's what it comes down to, quarterback play. And when you become predictable, that's either when you got guys, that's a great thing. Okay, stop us, but we'll see what happens, in the first year, and we'll see. So we'll go into the next team. Now we have UMass here next. We're getting down to the
Last place, I think.
No, second to last place.
Oh, okay.
I think we have with Kent State.
Oh, Kent State,
we have
yeah.
UMass here. They're going to start up with Temple. Then they got Iowa. So like you said, another team with so much interesting. A lot of these guys are, getting their pay games, but these guys actually look like they have 3. They play Missouri too. So I respect that.
So is this the first schedule that goes left to right like this instead of down?
Yeah.
That's stupid.
Oh yeah, I was following it the same
So
way.
Temple, Drake, Iowa, Missouri.
Because I'm like, what?
Zigzagging.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, some of these, if we want to we can get graphics jobs at Western Michigan.
Theirs was terrible. That yellow?
A couple of these guys where I'm like, dudes, y'all are making this so hard. Or they'll have, this is like more of a vertical for your phone, but a couple of these, it's like real desktop-y only.
No, I couldn't read that Western Michigan, the yellow.
Yeah, I know.
That's
I could barely read it.
You
Yeah, that was hard. I'm over here squinting, and I'm like, okay, this is hard. But yeah, it's crazy. A zigzag schedule we got going on here, and 3 pay games, 3 games where they're going to be punching up with Temple, which they could very well. I mean, I don't think they're going to win because this is going to be a rough UMass team.
Temple's a rough too, though.
2 years ago, weeks 1 through 5, UMass take it. But
with Tyson Fomachan?
yes. But
My
it's got
God.
Iowa and Missouri as well. So I want to get your thoughts first, Mark, on the season we have for UMass as far as prediction wise. We got 2-10.
Yeah, well, I mean, so at quarterback, they're bringing in a kid from Yale, Grant Jordan. He's another type of guy
Yes,
who's 360 yards of rushing last year, so he has a little scoot to him, nothing crazy. Though. But yeah, I mean, looking at their schedule, I mean, if they could beat Temple, I mean, you got Bryant next week, which I mean, yeah, Bryant can play. But other than that, I mean, I think Iowa handles them pretty easily. I think Missouri handles them easily, and then
Yeah, it's gonna be tough going Iowa then Missouri back to back. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
How many points are they going to score in those 2 weeks combined?
I would say 18 or 19.
My over-under is 7.
10 and then 9.
My over-under 7.
Man,
They might not score against Iowa, bro.
No, you're right.
yeah,
You're right.
I depending on how Jordan can come in from Yale, they might be able to form a decent offense, and decent by MAC standards,
Yeah.
Decent by UMass standards, even. I mean,
yeah,
So much-
right, yeah.
you know as well as me how bad they've been in the past. Since they moved up,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Since they moved
yeah.
up,
they
and
have
then-
not had one good FBS season.
No, they haven't, but they had coaching changes, so we think that buys them time, and then we have NIL if you really want to throw that factor in there. But I'm right there with you. I think they haven't had too much to hang their hat on, but we're gonna see if they can do some. We don't have we predicted them not to do too much, which I rightfully so. But so much of this time when you got all these games, especially with the back-to-back punch-up games where, I mean, your offensive line is going to have to keep you on the field, and you're going to have to control time of possession to even give yourself a remote chance. And then then you're still looking at an uphill battle. But I do like your point there on the Yale transfer, Ty Harding. We'll see what he can do, Jaquan Gibson. But yeah, nothing too much to hang your hat on. Hopefully they prove us wrong. We'll see. We don't hope they go 2-10. We just what it's looking like from what we got to go off of.
I'm actually gonna miss Fomachow.
Yeah,
Tyson Fomachow was fun to watch. The first week of the season,
You
when
remind
he
me-
beat Mexico State, he absolutely balled
You remind
out.
me of
I thought they were gonna have a
Yeah.
great year.
You remind me of EJ.
Yeah, did you watch that first game last year? I mean, dang.
Yeah. I was on the phone.
Fomachow just was running everywhere, throwing great passes.
Oh, just third down conversion.
And then he
after
fell
third
off.
down conversion.
Every week was
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was bad.
got a little worse, but
And now another team that go ahead, Mark. Sorry.
Just real quick, I was going to say, keep
Yeah.
an eye on Nobles as well for them.
Okay,
He
Nobles.
had 10 sacks last year. At
Okay.
Jackson State. So
That's
I think, for a team that needs a bright spot, I think he can actually provide a little bit for sure.
And
no,
then-
I agree with that. He was probably do you know what class he's in?
So
He might have played under Dion.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
all I was
mean,
wundering.
Dion's already been there.
Probably.
He's already going into the-
Yeah, that's what I said. He probably played. He's
Yeah,
played
he's a
Dion
senior.
recruit. So
Okay.
definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dion recruit, most 99% sure.
Yeah. assuming he was
So
gonna-
yeah, I
yes,
like that a lot.
Nice.
Assuming
Yeah,
he
cool.
transfer in, then yeah.
Right.
We'll see what he does. He's on the brighter lights now. We'll see if he can get some looks there from the pro scouts. But I wanted to get into our last team here, a team that is technically an improvement for what we got. But I mean, last place here is going to be going to Kent State, unfortunately. But some teams got to have a rough season, and it looks like they're going to have two rough ones in a row. They got Florida State, Texas Tech, Oklahoma. Oh my gosh, non-conference. I mean, they're going to get smacked. They're going to get paid some good money, it looks like. But anything to talk about here? Anything too crazy with Kent State, Mark?
They scheduled a home game against Merrimack week 1, which I think is to try and get them a win right out of the gate.
Yeah,
to,
undefeated. They'll be undefeated.
Right, just get that first one under their belt. But I mean, it's so funny because I mean, they were obviously just terrible last year.
Yeah.
But like, there's a kid on the Browns right now, Luke Floria.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
From there, I mean,
Yeah.
kid's balling. He might make the team. So I mean, it's just weird how how does a team go 0-12 and like I'm looking, they literally had 100 less yards per game on offense than Central Michigan at 13th. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah, bro, that's crazy. Like I know, like I cannot believe they didn't just steal one last year. I mean, you kind of just wrote them off, which I don't blame anyone, but. We got them improving by one game, 1-11. CJ Montez from Florida.
That's what I was about to talk about.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm actually really excited about Kent State this year because CJ Montez in 2023 was the best FCS quarterback in the country. 26 tuds. You know how many picks? One. 26
Yeah,
and 1.
Yeah, he was a
Got
stud.
hurt last year after 3 games.
Yep.
He played at Fordham 2023, 26 touchdowns, 1 pick, second team all FCS, and was a finalist for the Walter Payton Award.
Okay.
This guy is a stud. He was a FBS transfer, got recruited to go to Mexico. Then he transferred to Fordham. If he can play as good as he did in 2023, he might be able to bring everybody up around him and maybe get to 6-6. Man, I'm not saying they're going to win a conference.
Okay.
Hey, I'm just this guy. Look, 26-1, dude. I don't care where you're playing at. That is insane.
But FCS, I was
26 one
I was
pick.
watching a video where it went over every single
One.
FCS guy, and Strevler did similar to that, Strevler and somebody else did too. It's more common than you think, but still rare at the FCS level. But you got to prove at the FBS level. We'll see if he can do it. I mean, Kent State needs any bright spot they can take as a program, as a football team, as human beings. I mean, they just need some things to hang their hat on and go to sleep like, okay, this is all worth it, because it's been hard to be a Golden Flashes fan here.
I mean, I'm not saying they're going to win 6, but look, this is my favorite quarterback in the conference. Now that after I seen that name, I was like, dude, I know who this guy is.
I heard the name.
Took me a second to think about it, and I was like, oh, dominated it for him. Was pretty good at Mexico too before he got hurt. So,
and then JJ Etheridge is a guy you have your eye on as well, Mark, right?
Yeah. I was gonna say he's got pretty nice talent, like with him. Newbin coming in from Minnesota.
Oh yeah, true.
Nice back.
Yeah.
And then you got JJ, and you got I'm trying to think who their other guy is. is.
I can pull it up.
Shout out Jordan
Jordan
Newman.
Martin actually was more of like a kick returner last year, but he'll be their Z this year. They actually got a slot from Butler. I did not include him,
Oh,
but
nice.
his name is The Realist Clark.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say.
Dakota's Crawford.
Yeah, I was like,
Darylus
You
Clark.
got
I
The
mean,
Realist Clark.
That's
shout out his
slot.
mom.
crazy.
Shout out his mom.
Yeah.
'cause-
Shout out Jordan Newman too, though, because his brother Tyler Newman, NFL player for
Yeah.
the New York Giants, 2nd-round pick. So he got the bloodlines. He could never just get that starting job at Minnesota, but he's only in the rotation. So he really might be able to break out too. If they have a great quarterback running back duo, that's the start of something. You got
Yes.
2 good receivers here. I mean,
hey,
hey,
we
the
see-
offense might be sneaky good if their defense can step up. Mark,
I mean, obviously with JJ Efforts at wide receiver,
like what do you?
this
Yeah.
kind of reminds me of. Sorry, I don't want to.
Oh,
I'll let
you're
you
good.
talk, Mark, but this kind of reminds me of like preseason of what I seen from Arizona State last year. For going in, it's like okay, decent running back, good running back play, good quarterback play. If you can throw in some Jordan Tyson moments, some good wide receiver play, you could turn around this whole thing. And hey, you know, maybe pull off a 3-4, like you said, maybe even up to a 6-win season.
This Mark doesn't seem to be on our page, and he knows more about the MAC.
I wasn't
so
on your page either, but looking at it now, it's like, I mean, bro, you got to have dudes. It's all about Jimmys and Joes rather than X's and O's, but it's also still 11 guys on the field.
their defense is still really bad. Is that right, Mark? Their defense is
You know what? I will take. Whatever you guys want to put it on. I'll take the under. Whatever you guys.
Any number? Okay, give me one.
Hey, hold on. Go ahead.
No, I'm just kidding. Now look at the schedule and give you a real number.
Defensively, they're. I mean,
that's what I thought.
They were last in the MAC in yards given up, last in rushing yards given up, 11th in passing, 12th in or last in number of sacks. Again, stand by. So they couldn't sack the quarterback.
Okay.
They're just.
So they only got a quarterback and running back and receivers, which doesn't win you many games. It really doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can't stop anybody and you can't block anybody.
Right. That's
gonna be their 2 big issues.
Montez gonna be running for his life is probably what's gonna happen.
Yeah, and like I don't know how he got hurt before, but if he got hurt at Fordham, hopefully let's see who's.
No, it's definitely lower body.
Okay, well, hopefully he doesn't get pinned against like Oklahoma or somebody like that. Florida State.
They don't even have a futures here for the MAC conference on the Vegas Insider, so I'm trying to get of what is the over and under on the Golden Flashes this year. Covers.com has them plus 3 million for the
playoffs.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I was going to throw a $5 bet on.
Oh man, it's gonna. Now you know what? That's nothing but motivation for me. If I'm a Golden Flash, I mean, come on, let's go and get a ring, right?
How much should I win if I put 5 on that?
Yeah, the system is currently crunching numbers and analyzing the plays. They have no forecast on Kent State, and that's like a good sign. I mean, if Vegas doesn't know what Kent State's doing right now, give me 2 wins. Give me 2 wins. Give me 2 wins on Kent State.
I have Athlon Sports.
CJ.
They have a betting preview. So FanDuel and DraftKings each are at 1.5 wins.
Oh, come on, Dan.
I'm taking
their conference title odds are plus 30,000.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So at FanDuel, under 1.5 is plus 142.
Well, I'm logging in right now.
Both guys at Athlon are taking.
They're taking under, both of them. Took under 1.5.
I'm telling you, Merrimack is the only game on that schedule. I'm just like, okay, like maybe.
You know, they play UMass?
Let's bring it up.
Yeah, let's see if they play UMass.
They do.
Okay, you don't think that's a toss-up? Come on. UMass is always terrible.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know Kent State's been bad too, but
who's the wagon wheel?
Akron. Akron's been, fortunately,
that's the Akron
been rocking lately. Yeah, wagon wheels. Akron catch.
What the hell does that mean, Mark?
I don't know the history behind it. I just know like it's their rivalry.
Okay, fair enough. Oh, it's a rivalry game. I get you.
It's a rivalry game.
Yeah. I remember that on the old college football games when they included the rivals and.
the trophy. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I thought Akron has some new logo of the wagon wheel. I'm like, okay, Wells Fargo.
How many games would they win if Jay Archer came back?
I'll take the under. No.
Really? Still? Dang. Okay.
No, I don't know.
No, that's all I need to know. I might take the under now. You're still taking the under with Jay Archer?
He's just. Whew. I mean, he's going. You're right. He was good and
Fastest-
fast, but man.
Fastest guy in the world.
Why would you schedule Texas Tech, Florida State, and Oklahoma? Like, are you trying to just lose? Are you
They're going to
trying
get
lose?
absolutely embarrassed 3 games in a yeah.
Are you trying?
3 out of
to
4
lose?
games.
Money for sure. Yeah.
They need all of the money they can get. I mean, for sure, I get that, but
Yeah, but okay, so
No confidence with the players.
On a big stage to make 4 good plays, and then now a P4 school is going to call you and take you from me.
True.
I mean, what are we doing?
True.
Here?
What if a guy goes out and gets 150 receiving yards against Florida State?
Yeah, and then he's gone now.
Yeah.
That puts you in because we scheduled.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, I could, but like you said, money makes the world go round. You got to keep the lights on. You got to be able to have nice cookie cakes for your official visits for your guys. I mean, we got to do that. So
they lost their best receiver from last year to Michigan State.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's like, you got to take small victories. And at this point, if I'm a fan of these lower schools, which I love, I'm hanging my hat on like, yo, we got guys playing at Michigan now. We got guys at Ohio State.
This dude went to Michigan State, and every single ball is going to go to Nick Marsh.
I know, but hey, and sometimes it's beautiful. We see guys, somebody might emerge from the depths. Somebody's going to be open someplace. And we'll see. But that's pretty much rounding out the prediction-wise here. Each record got you fully covered from each team. Now, obviously, we have the MAC championship logo above Toledo. We think they're going to go ahead and pull away with it, which I agree with. I think it's all these are pretty solid takes. I'd like all of them. Obviously, we might not going to get it 100% right. There's going to be surprises, either good or bad. Some of these teams are going to have maybe a couple less wins and a couple more. So it's a good conference, man. It's like our third or fourth conference we've covered. So we're keeping it rolling. We're working our way up to the P4. Have faith that we're going to address it as P5 again. I really have faith that Pac-12 can get some wins here in the future. But just to reiterate for some people that maybe have catching us on the back end, what is your thoughts overall, Mark, just on the MAC?
Yeah, I think overall there's probably 4 or 5 realistic teams that actually have a shot at winning it. But, out of those 4 or 5 teams, there's probably 2 or 3 actual legit surefire contenders, and that's Toledo, Buffalo, and Miami. And don't get me wrong, I think Ohio, and I kind of like what Northern Illinois has as well. They're all decided by one game for a reason on our standings. Now level's all pretty close and whatnot. It's just it's a couple games here and there.
Yeah, and then a lot of these games are going to come up to heads-up matchups that end up determining either the teams involved, their season outcome, or other teams as well. See if they can get a shot at that MAC conference title. Before we get some thoughts here to Dalton on the conference, before we head out, I mean, the more we talk about Bowling Green, I get a little bit more excited about. The more we talk about NIU, a little bit more excited about. But I could see Bowling Green getting that 7th win as opposed to NIU. Could see them possibly flip-flopping. We'll see. But that's really the only thing I could see different. We got to keep our players upright. So depth is going to come into some of these guys. A lot of these guys are having new quarterbacks. Buffalo is going to be really interesting. And we're kind of just assuming Buffalo is going to do Buffalo and just grind out some wins, but we don't know how. And I'm excited to see how. But Dalton, want to get your thoughts here just before we head out on the MAC conference and what you think we're going to see.
I'm excited to see all the new quarterbacks that are transferred in. Roberson, got the Drew Pine, Daquan Finn coming back, Noah Kim, right? So you got all these
Boy
transfers. Montez, of course, which is my favorite one of the bunch, right? Thank you, Mark. Love him. But that's what I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see these new quarterbacks and just excited to see this new playmakers, man. There's always a guy that seems to come out of nowhere in the MAC, whether it be receiver or running back,
DN,
tight end, quarterback, any position.
Matter, man.
Just like one guy that comes out of nowhere and it just it puts up great stats week in and week out.
I mean, we don't know the number off the top of our head, but we were down in Mobile for the Senior Bowl all week, and a number of guys from the MAC were there, representing, doing their thing, as along with Harold Fannin, making plays. He went to a team close by who had eyes on him throughout his whole career in Cleveland. A lot of that regional scouting coming into play there. But yeah, I'm excited. I think both of y'all make some great points, and what we're going to see from the MAC, it's going to be a heck of a year from a lot of these schools, and yeah, a lot of the quarterbacks that either going to get a lot of wins or not live up to the hype. We'll see what happens. But before we get out of here and let everyone go, I know 4th of July is coming up. Do you got any big plans coming up for the weekend, Mark?
Let's see here. Gonna go swimming at my mom's with my nephew. He's turning 2 in August, and I'm the
Nice.
Hell yeah.
uncle. So that's a lot of fun. So gonna be catching some sun and playing with him probably all weekend. And yeah, just not working for sure.
Not
That's gonna
working.
be yeah.
Counting down today, still football. I mean, I think we're about 10 Saturdays away. My brother Corey called me. I was half asleep after work. He said, "Hey, it's 10 Saturdays till football." He said, "That's all I got. Talk to you later." I mean, dude, he's not the only one. There's millions of out there like that, along with us. They're just counting down until we get to see some pads pop and some bad flags be thrown.
Yeah, man. Especially the Gators walk on the field, bro, and everything's fine after that. I don't care, win or loss. Still want to see them play.
You want to see them play. You got a big year coming for your Gators. I mean, I'm a free agent with my team. I'm a couple of our recruits we're following. Wherever Will goes, I said I'm going to be a fan of. But I will say, I mean, a couple of these schools are growing on me with Sac State. We'll see. But we'll see if a MAC school can grab my heart and run away with it here. And we'll see. But before we go, like we said, we're going to keep you posted there on conferences every single week here before we lead up to these Saturdays, these next 10 Saturdays. Got a lot of recruiting news coming up. I mean, we're going to be at 7-on-7. We're going to be at Winton Woods versus Moeller. Bryshon Brown, NIU commit versus Matt Ponatowski, a guy. He's down to Alabama, Oregon, Kentucky at quarterback there. And he's also going to be playing baseball. So he's like I think the best shortstop in the nation in Ohio, or something like that. Like he's absolute guy. And they're saying he's going to be playing quarterback and baseball in college. So excited to see that, and we'll keep you covered. Now we got our Substack, which Mark is going to be running here, and pretty much just churning out articles to get everyone ready for the preseason and in season as well. So you can find us at Substack. That link is in our bio. You can follow us up there, get subscribed. Me and Dalton will have a couple throw-in pieces as well. Just if we got to get some rants out, if Dalton sees some bad Florida stuff he's got to write about and rant about, we'll have.
Yeah, Lagway 10th best quarterback in the country.
Yeah, I will.
Okay, Paul Feinbaum dropping more heat on him. Or something.
Yeah, Paul Feinbaum.
He's probably going. He always doing that, man.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
We're the only team he don't like, seemingly in the SEC. So I don't know what we did wrong to Paul, but
he hates a lot of. He's really opinionated on Colorado.
He don't like anybody not in the SEC.
No, he don't like. But with this, he's beating up on Tebow and other SEC guys as well. So
yeah, I don't know what his problem is. He's senile.
I didn't know about Paul Feinbaum until the Roll Tide War Eagle documentary. That's the first time I ever even heard about that guy. But yeah, that's when I found out about him. I just think
kick six.
I love seeing guys like that though, and kind of the guys that are played out, because honestly, it gives the little guys like us a little, a shot at getting an audience, because I just think the average sports fan, and they just want to see some real content about ball, and just they don't want tabloid stuff,
I hope we get another play like kick six this year.
Oh, the kick six? Oh, man.
A play that iconic.
Auburn's going to win the football game.
We need to play that iconic again.
Oh, I know.
What was the most iconic play this season?
I mean, bro, I hate to be a Shadur Sanders bias just because I love him.
But that's what I'm saying.
But
it didn't mean anything.
I know, that's true.
That's my point.
Oh, I know, but
it was great. You're right.
Now,
but the guy should have caught it. They played before.
Now, Auburn,
what about?
Go ahead, Mark.
I was just gonna say Ohio State bias. Jack Sawyer, the scooping the strip sack against Texas was huge. Yes. The Henderson screen pass before halftime was huge.
These aren't plays you won't remember 10 years from now, though.
Right? They're personal. Ohio
we didn't have any of those, right? Like the kick six, that ain't personal at all. Everybody remembers it.
Right.
That's like the Michigan State the punt.
I remember there was a really controversial call week 1. It was a catcher. It was like a Des caught it type situation. First Miami got bailed out.
Oh, a Hail
Miami,
Mary
remember Miami Hurricanes got bailed
against
out
Virginia
week
Tech.
1. I mean, there was a couple plays.
They got bailed out like 3 games.
Yeah, they got bailed out a lot. I think they're in for some trouble. I think Carson Beck.
Oh, I can't wait to play them this year because we tore Beck's up last year.
Dude, yeah, that's gonna be. I can't.
Yeah,
wait
I
to
don't
play
think
that
it's
ACC. They had Miller Moss. Like, I'm not even a Louisville fan, but obviously people know by now if you follow us, we're in Louisville. I'm not a bias of him, but they had Miller Moss like 6th the best ACC quarterback. I'm like, if Tyler Shook can finesse and finagle his way into pick 36 or whatever, this guy can too. I mean, come on. This guy can.
Who they got over him? Klubnik.
They had Jennings over him too.
Kevin Jennings. You don't.
No.
In a college? We're not talking about NFL.
Miller Moss is a better football player than him on all levels. Yeah.
Kevin Jennings is way better in college, bro. Miller Moss would not have led that team to
Miller
Moss would not have led that team to the playoffs.
Give me Kevin Jennings all the time.
That's my opinion. Miller Moss would not have led him to the playoffs.
Kevin Jennings can run like 4 good plays. Like, I love him, but those 4 good plays, he can run them really well. Jet sweep or option, scramble around, do some.
Yeah, but Moss can't do that.
No,
I guess
he's steady Eddie.
It just depends on what you want.
I'm just saying, in my opinion,
right.
If Moss was a starting quarterback to me last year, they're not sniffing the playoffs.
No,
exactly.
But
he can still be QB2 in the ACC. That's my only argument.
I guess it really all depends on town around, style of offense, all that type of stuff. Because if you're playing Moss in that offense, then forget it.
That's what I'm saying. Preston Stone was the same as Miller Moss. They benched him for a reason. Preston Stone had an amazing season 2 years ago.
Yeah, he did, and then it hasn't worked out. Where he's at now? He is at Northwestern.
Yeah.
He's at Northwestern now. He's gonna be playing on the water there in Chicago. So we'll see what he does. But I think it's gonna be an exciting year. We're gonna have a lot of new names here that's gonna pop up. And guys, we didn't think they were going to show out. A lot of those guys are more than likely going to be MAC guys. Mm-hmm. So stay tuned, everyone here. But before we wrap it up here, before this great 4th of July holiday, is there anything y'all want to add in?
I'm good, man. We had a good stream, I think, long time. So nothing to say. I think we covered it all. We talked my stuff at the beginning. Just had a nice convo at the end. I just hope everybody has a great 4th of July weekend. Enjoy your family. Enjoy the fireworks, man. And everybody be safe out there.
Stay safe. We don't want too many Jason Pierre calls.
That's what I was about to say. JPPs, yeah.
Yeah. So shout out to him. And then Mark, you got anything for the people here?
No, just same thing. Basically, you guys have a good 4th. Check out the Substack. We're going to start getting some stuff pumped out there. Excited for football. I know college football is coming out, video games in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Day off work. I'm going to play that to get my itch and then get ready for the actual season to start.
Yes, sir.
Let's go. I'm excited.
Same page here.
I just hit my 30-day mark about 2 or 3 days ago. I've officially put in 30 days of my life into that game, bro.
Congrats,
it's been a heck of a grind. I can't wait to coach up some guys, and we'll have some streams on as well, throughout the season. And it's gonna make these next 10 weeks go by a lot more smoother and seem shorter because we'll have at least some virtual football to talk about or what have you. We'll see if Arch Manning, let's see if he can make some Tim Tebow plays out there. We'll see what he can do on the game. But, I'm on the same with you. Now, we had some recruiting news. Deacon Schmidt, offensive lineman, he did commit to Oklahoma. So shout out to him, product of 6-0 Academy. We had Jackson Roper on the show last week, big offensive lineman out of Colorado, class of 2027, racking up offers. You got Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Alabama, Ole Miss. So I talked to him today, and I'm going to be real. I'm just letting everyone know. I hit him up today. I was like, man, I don't know if anyone's talked to you about this or not, but I believe you can reclassify up. I believe this kid can play college football next year. He's going into his junior year. This kid's an absolute stud. We have some camp clips as well in the interview if anyone wants to go check it out. But, it's pretty much all I have as well. We'll keep you up to date. Follow us at Home Squad Sports on all of our socials. And like you said, Mark's going to have our Substack hot and ready with some good pieces. But in the meantime, this is pretty much going to wrap it up here for us here at Home Squad. And you all have a great 4th of July. Peace.